Hey, I'm sorry. So one thing that a lot of users on Smartlead are moving to Smartlead because of the deliverability. I mean, one of the main value propositions of a Smartlead is fixing a really painful topic, which is deliverability. So if you can let us know more about the fundamental, if there are any checklists that I need to do before launching a campaign, especially in 2026, because I know and you know that every year the game is changing and the algorithm of the email providers are changing. So you guys know it better. You have plenty of data and you know what really makes a difference. So if you can tell us more about, you know, the fundamentals, what should we take care of and so on.
All right, absolutely. And I think this is one of the most important questions that we get every day from every single user. But I'll be very honest with you, and I'll be starting with a very boring fundamentals because there is no clever trick around it. We just have to stick with fundamentals and 95% of your job will be done. And then maybe the last 5% is where we can do the modifications. So what I'll do is I'll cover the 5 very basics and important things that you should have in mind when you are chasing deliverability. I'll quickly name all 5 of them and then we'll go in deep one by one. So the first one and the most important one is the authentication of your mailboxes. I'll go deeper into what I mean by that, but that is the most important piece. The second is the sending domain reputation. The third is the kind of quality of the content that you are writing in your emails. The fourth is the number of or the kind of leads that you are reaching out to. And the fifth one is the sending behavior, how you are sending, what's the time gap that you are keeping. So these are generally the 5 core fundamentals to keep in mind whenever we are creating the campaign. Now I'll jump into the first one, which is the authentication. What I mean by authentication is when you are attaching or when you are purchasing your mailboxes, you're attaching your mailboxes, the quality of the mailboxes is the major decision maker of whether your mail is going to land in spam or is it going to get bounced or not. And the things that we have to keep in mind when we are purchasing the mailbox or when we are attaching our mailbox are the DNS records, which is MX, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. So good thing is that most of the sellers who are selling the domains and mailboxes, be it Google, Outlook, or SMTP, they are taking care of it most of the time. But we can do the internal check from our side as well if everything is up to the mark with our mailboxes or not. Because I think that is where most of your cogs also go. The mailboxes are quite expensive. And I think that is where, apart from leads, that is where a lot of your money is going to do when you are doing cold emailing. Now, I think there are multiple tools that you can use like MX Toolbox to do a quick 30-second check whether these mailboxes are working fine or not. There are bulk options to do that. And maybe you can set up some automations which will do a regular check on these MX records and the overall health of your mailbox.
Okay.
So that is one thing, which is the authentication. The second most important thing is the
I have an input here, just a question. So in regards of the quality of the mailboxes, you mentioned that it's a very important aspect, the quality of the mailboxes. I believe you're talking here about Google, Outlook, and SMTPs. Those are the main 3 kind of email providers. My question is, will relying on resellers differs on the quality of the mailbox than purchasing the domain, the email account from Google themselves or Outlook themselves?
No. So essentially, we haven't personally observed any differences because at Smartlead, we get all kind of mailboxes. There are users who are directly setting up their own mailboxes on Google and Outlook accounts. And there are a majority of the users who are purchasing it from resellers. And honestly, there is we haven't observed any major differences if you are purchasing it from either resellers or from the Google directly.
Because there is this theory that says if you're selling from a reseller who is based in Pakistan or India versus someone who is based in US, the servers are different. I don't know if that theory is right, or is it just an assumption?
No, I think what we have to check while purchasing the mailboxes is whether they are what paneled mailboxes are we purchasing, because there are edu paneled mailboxes, then there are admin panel mailboxes, there are different panel mailboxes. I think about 8 months ago, Google has taken down on edu panel mailboxes, although they have stopped edu panel mailboxes since 2020. But there are still resellers who were selling edu panel mailboxes. And only 8 months ago, Google said that we are not going to let any edu panel mailboxes work. Now, as an end user, a lot of them don't understand what edu panel mailboxes is or what admin panel mailboxes is. And because a reseller have that understanding, and for them maybe it's a little cheaper than the admin panel mailboxes, so that is where the difference comes. So it doesn't matter which country you are purchasing from. The thing that we need to check for is that they should be admin panel mailboxes, and most of the admin panel mailboxes are hosted in US itself. So yes, that is how that US connection comes when you look at the mailboxes.
Got it. So never get the edu accounts, guys. It's not getting you anywhere. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. So the second thing is sending domain reputation. So now that you have purchased the mailboxes, you have set up your mailboxes, now we need to take care of those mailboxes before even we start sending. And that is where everything related to warm up, domain age, things like that come into play. Now, we have seen users who have purchased the mailboxes, and on the first day, they have sent 200 emails, and their mailboxes get burned within the first 5 days itself. And then they are confused. What is happening? My mails are not sending. And that is when they realize that, they need to do the warm up to the mailboxes first, and then they need to get into the actual sending. So we try to take care of all these basic hygienes on the platform. We are providing the guidelines on what are the good warm-up practices and how you should slowly start ramping up your mails and not sending 200 mails in the first day. So I think there is no fixed number that we suggest in terms of how many mails you send in the warm up or how many mails you send per day, because that depends on where are you purchasing your mailboxes from. Now, there are some vendors who would recommend that you can send 50 mails per day from our mailboxes. And there are some vendors who say you can send only 5 mails per mailbox per day. So therefore, it's very difficult to conclude on what is the number that we should suggest to the user. The ideally accepted number is around 20 mails per day. But again, be very careful where are you purchasing these mailboxes from. The science behind this is, let's say I have a domain smartlead.ai, and in smartlead.ai, I have added, let's say, 100 mailboxes, Iknoor, Weber, bishek, so on and so forth. So now for Smartlead.ai, I can send total 500 mails. And now that I have 100 mailboxes, so my limit of per mailbox becomes 5 per mailbox. However, let's say for this Smartlead, I have only 20 mailboxes. So my capacity is going to increase by 500 divided by 20, and I can maybe send 100 mails per day using. So you have to be very careful which vendor you are purchasing these mailboxes from and what are their recommendations. Hence, there is no generic worldwide accepted number for this. And we have to be very cautious of where we are purchasing this from. Although users who are purchasing directly from smart senders, we have in-house taken care of all these things, SPF, DKIM, and the number of mails that they can send. We have added that limit upfront itself. Also, coming to the ideal number of days that you have to warm up. Again, we have tried with multiple days. We have tried with 7 days. We have tried with 14 days. We have tried with 21 days. 14 days is where we have found that sweet spot, that if you are going to warm up for 14 days, then your mailboxes are actually considered as warmed up, and it's safe to then ramp up slowly when you're sending the actual mails. So this is the second very important layer, which is sending domain reputation.
So with ramp up, you mean to start low as like maybe 5 a day, and then ramp up like every week to add like 5 and 5 and 5 until you reach like 20 or 25 maximum per day? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can start with, let's say 5 per day for first week. Then you can ramp up to 10 the next week, then 15, and then you will reach the maximum capacity. It could be 20, 25, depending on the vendor. And that is where you will find your sweet spot. Now, what is also going to happen is, let's say you have observed that you are getting a very good reply on certain mailboxes. That means you are sure that these mailboxes have a very strong reputation and you are getting replies. So one thing that we suggest to the users is try to lower the number. For example, 25 is the maximum number. Do not send at full capacity, because you have built that reputation for that mailbox, and you do not want to burn it for a very long time. So get it down to, let's say, 18, 19 or 20, so that you are not running at maximum capacity. You are running at, let's say, 70, 80%, so that you can increase the life of mailboxes from, let's say, 5, 6 months to up to 9 to 10 months.
Got it. I'm seeing here Vaibhav from Smartlead. Are we having the founder here?
Yes, absolutely. We have our founder as awesome. One of the audience.
Vaibhav, hey man, glad to have you here. Sarah, if you can bring me back as a host, please. Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead. So one thing that I would love to add is Smart Senders. I've been using Smart Senders for a while. So if any one of you guys is having difficulties like building domains, the SPF, DKIM, DMARC, and so on, and like setting things up, Smartlead is taking care of the whole thing. You can actually you can rely on Smart Senders, building you the infrastructure.
Yes, and I mean, whoever wants to use Smart Sender, there's a gift that is coming your way in about next 2 to 3 weeks, and I am sure everybody in the world is going to love that gift because it's a price drop, and we have a thought process at Smartlead that we want to focus on ROI, because we want to give best quality at the lowest price possible. And that is something that we are operationally working out right now, and we are going to get that soon live. So that is going to save a huge cost for all the users.
Right. So jumping to the third one, I guess.
Yes, jumping on to the third one. And again, that is where you, as your business, can pitch the strongest thing to the user, which is the content quality. Now, there are few practices that we have to keep in mind while we are writing down the content. The first one and the most obvious one is the HTML that you include in the content. So if you're sending the first mail, be very, very sure that you're not including any HTML. When I say any HTML, there shouldn't be any pixels, there shouldn't be any links, there shouldn't be any images, there shouldn't be any documents, because that is what is going to help you land inside the primary inbox for the first time. Now, once you have landed inside the primary inbox, for the second sequence is when you can start including your links or whatever promotional activity that you have to do can be done. So this is the most fundamental mistakes that we have seen users doing when they attach the links and images in the first sequence itself. So that is number one thing that I would want to cover in the content quality. The second and the most important thing is the spin taxes. So do not use same content across the whole lead base, because that is what Google and Outlook are doing. They are tracking if you are sending exact same message at exact same time to 500 different users. That means you are trying to promote something, and that is when your mails are going to start landing in spam. So therefore, you have to spread across the times, a timestamp that you have for sending. You have to generate a different copy, and for generating a different copy is where spintexes play a major role. And we have observed that users who are using spintexes heavily are actually seeing higher reply rates. And I think we are also thinking of giving this on the UI itself, so that while writing down the sequences, we can tell user, is this the optimal number of spintex that you're looking for, or is there any modification that you have to do?
Yeah, got it. So I have a question that's relevant to the previous point, which is the content. Does that include signatures? I would say they were asking about just sending it a plain text without like HTML or URLs or and so on. So a lot of people are very, very concerned about adding the website or their LinkedIn profile in the signature. So what's your take about that?
I would say we can avoid that if possible, we should avoid that in the first sequence. The following sequence, we can do whatever we want to, but just for the first sequences, it's advisable that it should be clean.
Okay. And I believe inside the campaign itself, there is an option to force the text only. It's an option in Smartlead, and that will make sure that there is nothing in the background. In case if you're like copying and pasting from a Google sheet, from a Google doc to Smartlead, it's just making sure that the text, the email is sent in a plain text format.
Absolutely, we have that option where if you are going to enable that option, and if we find any HTML inside the email body or the subject line, we are going to just remove those HTML. So it's easy for user to send carefree emails.
Okay. So do not send images, links, attachments, especially in the first email. In the second email, do whatever you want. That's great. One thing that I would like to explain to the audience in regards of the spin syntaxing, because it's a scary word for non-techie people. So spin syntaxing means that you send different variation of the email, of the text, so the email provider will not see a pattern of repeated content that's been sent to multiple users. And I believe that with the new UI of Smartlead, there is this native spin syntaxing option where you connect your ChatGPT API, and it will rewrite the copy in different variations, and you don't need to worry about it. So guys, if you're not techie, Smartlead made it very easy for you to take care of that techie side, right? So use the spin syntaxing option within the new UI of Smartlead.
Absolutely. Apart from that, there are one or two other things, basic hygiene checks, but we see people at times miss those things. So do not use spammy phrases like limited time, act now, guarantee something, because these are the things where we have seen as soon as user just include these spammy words, reply rate goes drastically down, because that is the first impression that reader gets. Okay, it's a spam or it's a promotional mail. I don't want to even open that. And another thing that we have also observed is the lowercase conversation gets more replies. There are users who will caps it, write it in bold, and again, user loses the interest. So these are very minute things, which and all thanks to how we use AI. And that is how we are getting all these insights now, that these are the trends where it makes the difference between the top 1,000 campaigns in Smartlead who are getting above 10% replies versus what others are not doing. So these are very basic hygiene checks which we have to keep in mind. Cool.
Perfect.
Sweet. Let's move on to the fourth layer then. The fourth layer is again the most important layer. I mean, whatever I'm saying is important only because if we lose any of these pillars, the chances of deliverability again goes down. So the fourth one for me is the list that you are creating, because you should know what is the kind of ICP that you are targeting. Are we verifying the list or not? Verification of the list is super, super important, because that is not only going to lead to poor deliverability, but it is also going to burn your mailboxes. So it's a double loss. And therefore, you should be very cautious on where you are getting these lists from. Who is your vendor? Are you scraping it from somewhere, or are you getting it from any third-party vendor? The verification is very important. And now, let's say you have done verification, but the space of data is very tricky. I'll explain you why. So let's say today, let's say Ehab is working in Google. So the email ID of Ehab is ehab@google.com. Now let's say tomorrow Ehab switches to LinkedIn. So Ehab's email ID will become ehab@linkedin.com. Now ehab@google.com doesn't exist tomorrow. And when you purchase the data and you start your campaign, you generally run it for weeks or months, and the data becomes old. And therefore, the recency of the data is super important. And hence we have to do a generic check. If you're running a campaign for, let's say, 3 months, 4 months, the general suggestion is to re-verify your leads, because the lead that you have purchased even 2-3 weeks ago is the old lead, and that is why the quality of the lead is very important. Apart from that, you should always keep a check. There is an option that we give in Smartlead, the bounce protection. So if you have seen any campaign going beyond, let's say, X percentage, 3% or 4% is the general recommendation that we give. If the bounce rate goes beyond 4% for that particular campaign, we automatically pause that campaign, and we suggest user to have a look at your lead list, because it is not going to help you, and it is going to burn your mailboxes as well. So therefore, just use all these basic checks and balances on where you are getting your leads from, and where you are and how you are kind of protecting your mailboxes. Thing, please go ahead with the questions if you have.
No, I just wanted to add something. I'm a super user of Smartlead. So Smartlead have its own native email verification feature. So whenever you upload a list, you will have the verification of Smartlead to verify if that email is a valid, safe to send or not. So make sure if you're using Smartlead to use the verification option of Smartlead. Great tool. And again, it's making it easier for you to run your cold email campaigns. You don't have to jump between different softwares, all inside one place.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that we have already solved in month of January, and I'm not really sure if you guys are aware about it or not, but we have made data free. So you don't have to pay for data anymore. We have our tool called Smart Prospect, and anybody who is using Smartlead, they don't have to purchase leads from outside. They can simply download the leads from Smart Prospect without paying anything if you are on Smart Plan or above. And let's say if you are on Basic Plan, Pro Plan, it's just $59, and then you get almost unlimited leads. While we were building this, we have learning of our own on how does these leads work. So we have added extra layer of protection when we are giving these leads. So we are a sequencer, and we know exactly which lead is getting bounced in real time. Because let's say if you have sent email to ehab@google.com, and if this doesn't exist, we will immediately know that this email doesn't exist, and we are going to block that from our prospect list as well, so that the next user doesn't have to get the same bounce again. So therefore, it is double protected from the bounce in the real time itself.
Yeah, nice. Great work. All right. So we're moving to the fifth one, or are we still?
Yes, we are going to move to the fifth one, which is the sending behavior. Now that we have covered the, just a quick revision so that everybody is not lost, we have covered the authentication. That means we have our SPF, DKIM, DMARC in place. Then we have domain reputation covered, which is why warm-ups are very important. Then we have the content quality covered on what's the limit of the words. We should not use caps and things like that. Then we have covered the list hygiene. And now the last part is the sending behavior. When I say sending behavior, when we are setting up a campaign, it becomes very crucial on what's the time gap that we are putting in. So there are different level of time gaps. One time gap is when you're putting it at the campaign level. So between two triggers, I want to keep 20 minutes time gap. That is one level of check that we do. The second level of check that we do is at the mailbox level. So for example, I am using Iknoor@smartlead.ai to send the email. I will put a time gap of 5 minutes so that Iknoor@smartlead.ai is not sending multiple emails together or in a gap of 1 or 2 minutes. So we have to keep that time gap difference as well. And then apart from that, we have to also take care of time zone where we are sending. So let's say if I am sending it to a US lead, so I shouldn't be sending from a Indian time zone. I should see on when this is going to land in my reader's mailbox. And then we also have to see the likeliness of the responses. For example, you don't want to send it on the Saturdays or Sundays. And interestingly, you don't even want to send it on Mondays as well, because Mondays when everybody is bombarding the mailbox and the chances of your mail coming on a top reduces drastically. Therefore, Tuesday becomes that sweet spot because in general, maybe in MENA region, because we have Sunday as a working, therefore we can target Monday. But in geographies like UK, US, we recommend to do it on Tuesdays instead of Mondays. So these are the basic things that logically make sense, and then data speaks the same thing as well.
We have a question here regarding the previous point regarding the time gaps. So we have a question here asking if it's better to have a 5 minutes or a 20 minutes time gap. Well, is there a safe time gaps?
No, I think so that depends on the number of emails that you want to send per day. For example, you are sending it from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You have 4 hours of sending. And if you have kept a time gap of 20 minutes, which means every hour there are 3 triggers that is going to happen. And in 4 hours, there are 12 triggers that are going to happen. And in every trigger, for example, you have 20 mailboxes connected to your account. So there is 250 mails that will be sent. So you have to back calculate on how many emails that you want to send per day. That is going to be one factor. And the time gap obviously has to be on a safer side. 20 is what we call safe. 5 is what we do not call safe, if that is how we want to look at it.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Any other questions before we move ahead?
No, I'm just getting the questions that are relevant to that point, and just the rest of the questions will be in the the Q&A part.
Got it. Absolutely. Sweet. I think we can move ahead. So there is a checklist that I've prepared, but I think we'll run out of time if I'm going to get into checklist. So I'm going to share that with you later. But just to quickly cover, in 2 minutes, if I want to cover the checklist, the first one is while you are pressing the start campaign button, these are the 7 things that you want to look at. Look at your domain and infrastructure. Look at your mailbox and warm-up are already done. Look at your list quality. Look at your sequence designs. What I mean by sequence design is you have kept 3 sequences, 5 sequences, the word in every sequence. Then 5th one is just look at the personalization. You have used variables. You have used syntaxes properly. 6th one is schedule. And 7th one is compliance and brand safety. So these are the 7 checkpoints that you should have. I'm going to share the detailed list post this call, and then Ehab can share it with everybody.
Thanks, man. So we are good now with the 5 layers. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's gold data, man. Thanks so much. I have another question regarding the the data part. I think also you covered that one. So just talking about the data about the campaigns that you're seeing around the MENA region. I mean, the best timing. What's the best practice with the sending time during the day? I mean, do you find any kind of seasonal drops in the Middle East? I mean, like in Ramadan time, it's like the Christmas time in the Western world. So do you see any kind of patterns that's different in the Arabic region?
Sure. Yes. So before this call, and I mean, I'm also seeing the live data. So I'll quickly first cover with what is the data that I'm seeing, and then I'll try to cover the insights out of that data. So right now, at this moment, when we are having this conversation, there are about 300 active users who are sending in MENA time zone, and there are about 5,200 active campaigns which are running live. The concentration of the division among these campaigns is 70% is in UAE region, the Dubai region, 17% is in Saudi Arabia, 11% in Egypt, and the rest is in Kuwait, Oman, and Qatar. Apart from this, I'm also seeing the last 90-day trend. There are about 1.5 million prospects that has been reached out to across 84,000 different domains. When I say 84,000 different domains, that means .coms, .ae, .sa domains. Out of this, interestingly, 80% are .coms domain itself. So there are 80% of the users right now who are still preferring .com domains, and there are 20% who are using others like .ae, .sa domains. Now, now this is the volume of the data that I have covered. Now I'll tell you what are the insights that I am seeing out of this. So the first insight that I'm seeing is 91% of the replies fall in Sunday to Thursday time range, where Monday is the strongest day of the reply and Thursday is the second strongest day of the reply to be received. In terms of time of the day, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is where we see the larger amount of replies that are received, with the peak timing between 9 to 11 a.m. Riyadh time. So this is the second observation that I have. And we have roughly seen there is a 10x difference in reply volume between Monday and Friday for the MENA region. So yeah, in terms of timing, it seems like Monday is clear winner for Middle East, and 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the time where the reply peaks. So that is maybe when you would want to land in your customer's mailbox.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more thing I think because of the time would like to cover is Arabic language in the content and the RTL. So right to left. I think that is something that I'm always hearing from a lot of users in the community when they try to type in a campaign within the Smartlead sender. It's a little bit like tricky because it's not natively designed to support the Arabic language. And my question here, should community be writing emails in Arabic or stick to English? And whether the language impact the deliverability, if you have any kind of data that supports if language makes any difference in the reply rate and the deliverability.
Got it. Interesting question. And I think the one that matters for specifically this region. So in terms of supporting the RTL, Smartlead do support RTL. We process UTF-8 throughout the stack, which means it supports multiple languages. And for that fact, I can see right now that there are about 2,500 camp sequences which are running in Arabic characters right now as we are speaking. which is fairly less percentage. I mean, it's only 0.03%, but there are a certain set of users who are writing in Arabic language. And in terms of deliverability, and in fact, now that we'll be coming up with our own AI content writer. So just to give some insights, what we are doing at Smartlead right now is we are trying to understand our users. So we will know who our user is. We'll try to save that context. And we are going to use that context and read millions of emails that Smartlead has. And out of those millions of email, we are going to pick the best one which suits your persona. That if you are trying to reach out to a user who want to purchase Coca-Cola, what kind of content you should write. So we are going to read our database. We'll see in what type of content have users earlier gotten the reply, and then we are going to write those for you. And that will be supported in multiple languages. So you don't even have to worry about typing anymore. The assistant is going to take care of all these things going ahead. In
Awesome.
terms of, in terms of deliverability, when I'm seeing the comparison, in both the cases, the reply rates are almost similar in both English as well as Arabic language. However, majority, more than 90% of the users are preferring to use the English language. And my assumption here is maybe there are a lot of companies, procurement companies, IT companies, MNCs, the decision maker in all these companies might be using English as their primary language or primary mode of communication right now. And therefore, maybe people are sticking to English for now. So that is the observation that we have. However, the reply rate seems to be similar in both the cases.
Noted. I have an input about that. I as a user, I'm from the region. I understand the culture. So I would say it differs between country to the other. So for example, UAE is a very multi-diverse culture. So most of the business people are using English in their business narratives. Unlike Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is more of tend to use the Arabic language in their in the business narratives. Also, it depends on the industry. So I've seen like in the HR community in Saudi, it's wholly Saudized. So whenever you send to a Saudi HR person, it's better to write in Arabic. For others like IT, you have a lot of Indians and Pakistanis and Filipinos, so writing it in English. So my input here, it differs from one country to another because the culture is totally different between Saudi and UAE. But yeah, that's my input here.
Absolutely fair point, because I think as per data also, like I mentioned, 78% are UAE related data points that I was seeing, and therefore maybe it was English heavy. And I think whatever part that you have mentioned around Saudi Arabia, maybe those are the users who are using Arabic language. So absolutely spot on. You are legend of that area, so I would give that to you.
Thanks, man. One more thing. So one more thing that I would really love to discuss, because I'm actually hearing a lot, especially in Saudi Arabia and Egypt, WhatsApp. So you guys launched the dialer, like I think Jan or Feb, where you can like make the call within the native app of Smartlead. Great feature. I didn't use it yet, but I think it's adding a lot of value to the multi-channel concept. My question is WhatsApp. Are you considering like WhatsApp in your next epics or next features? It's a big thing here. So I've seen in Saudi Arabia governmental deals that's been closed from WhatsApp. So Saudis love WhatsApp more than emails. So do you have any plans around that?
Absolutely. I think, yes, with Smartlead as a concept, we are moving towards multi-channel because we understand that maybe there are certain set of users and certain set of target audience who require multi-touch points. So for example, we have observed how people are using our automation tool was they are sending first sequence as a mail, then as a second thing, they are going and like their LinkedIn post, as a third sequence, again mail, then as a fourth sequence, they are going to send a friend request on LinkedIn. As a fifth sequence, it could be maybe a phone call. So we have validated this concept that in order to get the best deliverability, there has to be a multiple touch point for certain set of businesses. And yes, there is no two way around it. If we want to go multi-channel or not, we have already started moving towards that way. And Smart Dialer was the one thing that we have built natively to move into that direction. We also support LinkedIn, but that is not natively built. That is supported as an automation from our Smart Agent tool. With respect to WhatsApp, yes, that is there in our roadmap. We want to cover WhatsApp. That is strongly supported in a lot of other countries. There are just a few legal compliances that we are in touch with and we are getting approvals on. And the immediate next step after phone dialing is going to be WhatsApp. Unfortunately, today I do not have a day or a date for you. But yes, that is in our roadmap and we are moving towards that direction.
Yay. Awesome. That's great news to hear. One more question, and then we will leave the floor to the audience to ask questions. In your point of view, when is a Smartlead the right call? I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people who are using tools like MailChimp, HubSpot to send emails, right? I've seen people doing manual outreach. I've seen people relying on tools like Brevo. I've seen I don't want to name lots of tools. I know that you will not talk bad about other products, but I just want to know your input. When should I consider moving and build my go-to-market campaigns on Smartlead?
Got it. I think that's a tricky question, and I would start with a tricky answer. If you want to land in a primary inbox, use Smartlead. That's a simple answer that I would want to put. But jokes apart, I think every tool in the market is good. There is no bad tool in the market. There are few customizations that are done in every tool. For Smartlead, I believe we focus majorly on the infrastructure and the deliverability. When I say infrastructure, if you have to send heavy number of emails, you have to send emails in million. There are very few tools that I know in the market that supports that, and Smartlead is one of that tool. Second is the API depth that Smartlead has. So in case if you are very nowadays, given we have Claude, we have GPT, even if you are not tech savvy and you want to automate multiple things, for example, you have to fetch your data from Excel, you have to put it in Smartlead, then you have to create a presentation or you have to connect it with your Google Meets. It becomes very easy with Smartlead because our API depth is very deep.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we have also majorly started focusing on the solopreneurs recently, and we are kind of improving the UI UX to get the better and premium feel. So if these are the things that you're looking for, I think Smartlead should be the good tool. For why you should not use Smartlead, I would say, for example, if you have a very LinkedIn heavy use case, that is when maybe Smartlead should not be your first choice. HeyReach should be your first choice. Or let's say if you want to use WhatsApp, again, Smartlead doesn't support WhatsApp very strongly today natively. So today, maybe this is not your first choice. But yeah, eventually we are getting into all these things. I hope that answers your question.
To summarize things, guys, if you want to land your cold emails into inbox, Smartlead is your go-to tool. And I've been using them for 3-4 years now. They're killing it. Another thing, if you want to build a scalable machine that can send millions of emails, with very good deliverability rates. Smartlead also is your go-to choice. One thing that I think you didn't cover because you don't want to speak bad about other products, but I believe there are those products that are built to send marketing emails to opted-in leads. Great softwares like MailChimp and HubSpot. Smartlead is a totally different, mechanism where it's built for cold campaigns, right? And I've seen like a great value proposition using Smartlead. So thank you, Iknoor, for building this amazing product. And we will take the questions. Now it's time for questions. So any question you guys, any questions you were holding, it's time to drop it in that chat. So I will go through the chat and so we have a question from Muhammad Ragab. He's saying that he's currently using a Smartlead and it's been the best sequencer for me so far. They're using Zapmail as their main infrastructure provider. The question regarding the deliverability and outreach to companies using Outlook, Microsoft infrastructure. Yeah, that's a tricky one. From what I've noticed, especially in the GCC and probably worldwide, many companies rely heavily on Outlook, and reaching inbox there seems to be much harder. Yeah, so the question here is Outlook and deliverability, and how can we crack the code to get our cold emails into Outlook inboxes?
Very interesting question, and luckily I have studied this data, but maybe I think it was about 2 months ago. So there is a cyclicity in terms of ESPs is what we have observed. At times, we have seen Google mailboxes performing better. At times, we have seen Outlook mailboxes performing better. There's one consistent observation that we have seen is the ESP to ESP matching. So if you want to reach out to Outlook domains, you should use Outlook mailboxes. And we have observed a decent change in the reply rates when you are using that ESP matching feature inside Smartlead. So if you have to kind of reach out to Outlook, the only suggestion that I can give for now, and a data bag suggestion, is use Outlook mails to reach out to Outlook mailboxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means that I should build the infrastructure to have some Google accounts, some Outlook accounts, and use the Outlook accounts to reach out to Outlook accounts.
Yes. You should always build your infrastructure with a mix of Google Outlook and at times SMTPs as well. And you don't have to do anything. You just have one option in Smartlead itself in the settings section. If you're going to click that, we will take care of how to do that matching, and we will just send those. We'll use those Outlook mailboxes to send to Outlook mails itself.
Perfecto. Have another question here from Iman. I just have a quick question regarding the warm-up process. When I buy a domain and an email account, I set the warm-up to 40 and the reply rate to 40% for around 3 weeks. And after that, I increase the warm-up reply rate to around 60%. And I keep each mailbox sending only 20 per day. Mm-hmm. So is there anything wrong with that? So just to summarize the question, when she set up the warm-up, she set the warm-up volume to be 40 and the reply rate of the warm-up at 40%. And she keep the warm-up for 3 weeks. And then when she starts the campaign, she reduced the sending volume to 20 per day. And she's asking if that's the right setup.
Got it. Can you just repeat on what is the sending volume when the warm-up is started? Is it 40?
40, yeah. So the warm-up at 40, and when she starts the campaign, she set it at 20.
20. I think the volume you should keep lower itself because it's a new mailbox, and logically also when we purchase a new mailbox, we generally send either 1, 2, 3, 4 mails for first few days, and then we start ramping up because that is what Google and Outlook also observes. Because let's say if I am an employee, I joined the company for the first day, I will not send 15, 20 or 40 emails in a day. So therefore, recommendation is to start slow only, keep it to 20 itself. And you can adjust the percentages. Percentages wise, it seems fine. But just the volume, if you mention it's 40, just keep it to 20.
Perfect. Another question from Ahmad Sadiq. By the way, guys, if any of you guys want to add the question by voice, you can just raise your hand and I will unmute you. So I will take the questions that are in the chat. And if you have another question, you can raise a hand and we'll take the question. So we have a question from Ahmad Sadiq from Smartlead Statistics. What is the average conversion rate from email campaigns to law firms in the GCC? I don't know if you have that data, but the question is, what's the conversion rates for campaigns? And I believe that the word conversion is differs from someone to another, but I believe maybe the question is
the reply rate is what we can consider as a conversion here. I think I mentioned earlier as well. I have seen this data, and the reply rate is similar to the for both GCC and other domains. However, the volume of domains that we are seeing is .com domains. Now, I think the logic behind that is by default, .com domains have higher deliverability, but the GCC domains have higher trust rate. So if you are sending in your local region, your trust will be built if you are landing in the primary inbox. And in order to land in the primary inbox, you have to take care of all the 5 concepts that we have spoken about. So if you are checking all those points that we have covered, I think GCC should be your good bet to take.
So do you have a take around what's the average reply rate and positive reply rates within the region or the global market? So any input here?
Average is 4% is what we have observed. 4 to 5% average reply rate is what we are observing. In GCC also, it was very similar. It was around 3 point something, but it was close to 4.
And the positive replies?
Sorry, I think it was the positive reply that I spoke about. The reply rate is around 6 to 7%.
Noted. All right. What is the typical safe limit for sending emails to the same domain so that the outreach appears natural and does not trigger spam alerts or damage our reputation to the prospect side? I believe you already answered that question in the checklist.
Yes. So it again, I'll just reiterate that depends upon your vendors where you are purchasing mailboxes from. Generally, 20 is the number that we recommend. But again, there are some vendors who have high number of mailboxes per domain. In those cases, you might have to limit yourself to 5 or 6 or 7. But it completely depends on your vendor. 20 is the sweet spot and a general accepted number.
Perfect. Another one from Umnaya Adil. She's asking, should the time gap be a fixed time gap or should it be a variable one?
The time gap, you'll have option to keep a fixed time gap, which is about 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want to keep it. We, from the backend, naturally adjusted a few seconds here and there so that it doesn't seem systematic. So it should not seem like that user is receiving mail at 10, then 10:20, 10:40, 10:60. We will automatically make few seconds or minutes here and there. So we'll just make it look natural.
Nice. Yeah. I love that feature, by the way. It's a very smart one. Another question from Hazim Safwat asking if there is an availability of integration with ERP systems like NetSuite or others like HubSpot that can integrate via APIs?
Absolutely. If you'll go to Smart Agents, you'll find a lot of integrations there. There are a couple of CRMs. HubSpot is one of the CRM that we have already integrated with. I think Close is another CRM. Salesforce is something that we are working with. So you can use those integration options. And a good thing is you don't have to be a technical person to do these integrations. You can just write in your natural language and Smart Agent is going to build that automation for you.
Yeah, nice. Another question asking if the Smart Leads have a feature of waterfall enrichment for mobile numbers and emails.
Absolutely. That is what I have covered, that we have a feature for email enrichment, and it's absolutely free of cost if you are on Smart Plan and above. If you are lower than Smart Plan, then it's going to cost you $59, and you will get, I think, about 30,000 leads, which is going to cost you about 0.000 something dollar per lead, which is almost free. So yes, we do have a email enrichment option available today. Phone number enrichment is going to be live by next week. It's already there in coming soon section, and we are planning to launch it next week.
Nice. That's great news. So we have Ahmed Mohsen. You can unmute yourself, and so unmute yourself, Ahmed Mohsen.
I'm not really sure if they have option to unmute them or not. I'm not sure if they have given them.
I'm an admin. Ahmed Mohsen, go ahead.
Hello everyone. I'm sorry I was late for this valuable session. I will look into the transcripts. Thank you so much for this valuable information. My question is, are you gonna provide anytime soon some sort of MCP or API integration for the most plans? So because right now we are mostly working with Claude and AI agents, so it would be great because right now my CRM is connected to that co-work and everything is connected. So I'm pulling data from here and there and then adding them to the campaign. So do you have plans not to lock the API for the rich people who have the rich plans?
I mean, is the question about rate limits, or is the question about do we have MCPs or not?
I think it's about if Smartlead can be connected to his Claude as a connector.
Understood. Got it. I believe that's poor on our side. We do have MCPs from past 7 months now. The day MCP was launched, 1 week after that, we have made our MCPs live, and we are constantly modifying it. We also have our CLI live, so you can directly use CLI itself in your Claude. All those things are already available. Just Google it and you should be able to find it. If not, just drop me email at iknoor@smartlead.ai and I will help you with that.
So you can find it in the connectors, Ahmed Mohsen. So if you went to Claude, you can connect your Claude account to Smartlead MCP. It's been there for I think you just mentioned seven months ago.
The MCP is there. The CLI is also there. Inside connector, I mean, you have to just tell your Claude to connect using this MCP, and it is going to connect itself. Inside connector is what we are working on right now. But just a single prompt is going to help you connect to that.
All right. So we'll take 2 more questions, and we'll end the session. So, Mu'min, you have the mic. You can unmute.
Hi.
Hi, Mu'min.
I'm sorry, I just can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
We can hear you.
So I just wanted to clarify on my question that I sent earlier regarding the waterfall enrichment model. What I meant by this is that some other platforms, when they don't have the data on the platform itself, they do something that's called the waterfall enrichment, which is that they have partner data companies that they work with. However, it sometimes costs more credit and things like that. But they look in like 20 other databases until they find the phone number for the person that you want or the email for the person that you want, if it's not already on the platform right now, on the original platform, let's say Smartlead.
Yeah. So the Smart Prospect feature that I have mentioned, in the backend, we are running it through a waterfall with about 5 to 6 different vendors. And so we do support waterfall enrichment for emails, and from next week onwards, it's going to be for phone numbers as well. Is that the question?
Yeah, that's exactly the answer to my question. Thank you so much, Iknoor. And just if you allow me one last question regarding the dialer. I heard that you guys recently launched a dialer. Does by any chance this dialer includes the local dialer feature, which is like a variable phone number depending on the area code of the prospect?
So local presence is As of today, it's not there, but it's currently inbuilt. There are few KYC and documentation processes that we have to go through. That is what we are getting sorted. But in next few weeks, you are going to get local presence as well. We are still doing our research on where to start with. I think Middle East is one region which we are considering as a local presence.
Interesting.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
One last question, and we will wrap up. From Muhammad, asking how reliable are Smartlead's delivery tests? I think he's asking about smart delivery. In most cases, the tests show that Outlook placement is 100%, but in real campaigns, I end up getting almost zero replies from Outlook-based emails.
Correct. And you are not wrong at raising this question. We are working towards our smart delivery platform, and we are improving that every day. At times, what happens is, there are a lot of mailboxes where we are sending this and testing internally. And because the sheer volume is so high, therefore, we are just working on optimizing the rotation period of these mailboxes. We are getting it down to about 2 to 3 days. Right now it is 5 to 7 days. So yeah, at times there are few inconsistencies that you may see, but over a period of time, it is going to be completely clean.
So does that mean that the seed accounts that we're sending the testing emails to, those are being changed like regularly? So
yes.
So what happened here is you just need to speed the changing. Quicker.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
got it.
Correct. That is what we have to check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a new thing for me too. So I'm learning from you guys. Interesting. Iknoor, really gold data, to be honest. Personally, I consider myself as a super user on Smartlead. I would say a good percentage of those 300 campaigns that you're talking about are coming from our side, from people either we build the campaigns towards. And by the way, something that you're not aware of is we onboarded 2 unicorns to use Smartlead in the Middle East, and there are few unicorns in the Middle East. I can send you like the case studies of our campaigns with them. But yeah, great work, guys. Iknoor, thank you so much for the valuable session. For the iSkala's community, thank you for attending. We will be sending you all of the session recordings shortly with the subtitle in Arabic, because I know a lot asked about if the session will be in Arabic. Iknoor's Arabic is not is not that great. So we would love to have you again, or any of your team again. I believe you sensed how good is the community here in the Middle East. We have very talented GTMs. We have great talents here, and they're really hungry to learn about the new trends and the new GTML strategies. Thank you, Iknoor, again. If you have a final note to drop, and then we're free to go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ehab, for this wonderful opportunity. Hats off you for pulling this crowd together. And yeah, I think it's a two-way road. It's not just me sharing information with you. It's me also learning from you on what are the challenges, what are the things that we can improve. My inbox is always open for you. If there are any challenges, any frustration points, any opportunities that you feel, please reach out to me, and I'll make sure that we are going to get that for you in production. So yeah, thank you so much for hosting me, Ehab. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Iknoor. Thank you, guys. See you again in the next session, and have a good one. Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.